Hello, my name is Chad Young, and today I'm going to discuss the whistleblower case of Harry Markopolos. So a little background about Harry Markopolos. He started working at a company called Rampart Investment Management in 1991. And at the time, there was somebody named Bernie Madoff, and he was consistently posting double-digit returns. Mr. Markopolos' boss wanted to do something similar, so he asked Mr. Markopolos to be able to replicate the same model that they were using. It was then that Mr. Markopolos determined that there was probably fraudulent activity going on with Mr. Madoff, because he said it was almost impossible to be able to post the kind of returns that he was. He used an example of batting almost a .96 average in the MLB. He said it only took about 5 minutes to determine that it was a fraud and about 4 hours to be able to prove it. And as you can see, when he discovered this, he went to the SEC with it because it was an external matter, and he said it was in May 2000 that he first determined this and went to the SEC, and he continued to urge them to look at this matter up until April of 2008. He said in early 2000s that it was more of a tentative matter that he was committing fraud, but it was almost 100% certain by 2005. Now, it wasn't until 2006 that the SEC decided to look at this case that he had put together, and within 11 months they discarded it and said that there probably wasn't any fraud occurring. And the reason this may have been is because Mr. Madoff had a lot of ties within the investment community. Interestingly enough, though, Mr. Markopolos, he asked many large investment firms if they did business with Mr. Madoff, and all of them said no because they thought that what he was doing was wrong. When an interviewer at 60 Minutes asked Markopolos why this might have been, why they wouldn't have gone to the SEC with it, he said that people in glass houses don't throw stones, meaning that they could have possibly been doing something similar. And he also had large ties to the SEC, which, like I said, may have been why they didn't confront him about this. In the IMA resolutions of ethical conflict, these deal more with internal matters instead of external, so they don't completely correlate to this scenario, but if it was an internal matter, he would have first gone and followed the organizational policies, gone to his immediate supervisor, if that wasn't resolved, next supervisor, and eventually up to the audit committee or board of directors. And they said to use outside measures as a last resort. In this case, this is what he used, just because it wasn't an internal matter. Something that he didn't use that I think could have been helpful is he could have discussed with an IMA ethical counselor or with an attorney. These are two things that were discussed in the IMA resolution of ethical conflict that I think he could have used. Mr. Badarakos, he wrote an article called "We Don't Need Another Hero," and it discussed some other things that we could do besides just blowing the whistle, such as finding compromise and picking your battles. With this case, he really didn't have a choice about picking your battles or finding a compromise, because what Mr. Madoff was doing was clearly wrong, and he knew that. And because he knew that, he needed to address it to the proper authorities, like he did. So there is the case of Harry Markopolos. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching.